Hi and welcome. I'm John and this is Unique Wargaming Terrain. Guys, welcome back. For everyone that's new, this is the Monday painting video. What's the Monday painting video about? Basically, from the previous week's Weekly Wednesday, I show you guys a heap of models and you vote on which model or models you want to paint. And whichever one has the most votes, I paint for Monday's painting video. So for all my regulars here, guys, I feel love. Thank you very much. I'll see you in a second. Right, so what won the vote? These bad boys won the vote. These are 7th edition from the Warhammer 40k box game. These are 7th edition Chaos Chosen. Now, in the 7th edition box game, there's actually 6 of them. But I think the rules have changed. There's going to be 5 in a unit. And the other guy looks like he's some sort of hero, so I just said, you know what, I'll just leave him as a hero and just paint these guys up. Now, these are very similar to the Eldritch Omens ones, Eldritch Omen Chaos Chosen Marines. There's a few differences, but there's not, there's a lot of similarities. So I'm not going to paint these guys like I did the other guys. I'm going to paint them different. One difference: 7th edition one, it's the Power Fist. The Eldritch Omens one, the Power Fist has a big mouth on it. So it's very similar but different at the same time. So wet palette to start with, I'm going to be painting these guys up as a Nurgle. Yeah, as in like the mark of Nurgle, or they're from Nurgle, wherever, Death Guard, or just they've been blessed by the gods. So first we'll start with Falcon Green. There's some Screaming Skull, all the horns and stuff, and I've got some Retributor armor. Okay. Again, I'm not going to do the whole thing on camera. I'm going to start with one model. I started a few bits of that model and then go off camera and do the rest of it. So I'm going to walk down some Vulcan Green. And what I'm going for is all of the panels. Okay, try and get as many of the panels as I can. I'm going to get everywhere with this Vulcan Green. Even if I've got to come over for a second coat, I'll do that as well. Just try and get in to all the little nooks and crannies. So as you can see, you can get the idea. I'm going to go off camera and do the rest of it off camera. And here we are. Now I just had a thought I could actually bring some Death Guard green over the top of that if I want to. I'm not going to go in that direction, but you could do if you wanted to. What I'm going to do now is get in with all the, well, not that one, that's going to be silver, but all the horns on his shoulder pad there. Looks like it's got cloth at the front of him, but I suspect that's a human skin. But all those bits like that, I'm going to get in with some Screaming Skull. Things like this guy, the horns on his helmet, on his backpack there. This big silver skull thing coming out there, but just all those little bits and pieces, get in with some Screaming Skull. I don't need to show you me painting horns. But this guy, all across his chest, the horns. He's got some bones on his shoulder pad there. He's got skulls on his backpack. Spine coming down his backpack, which is absolutely a fantastic sculpt. I'm going to get on with the Screaming Skull and do that on those. I'm going to come back to you then, guys. I thought I'd show you a little bit of the Screaming Skull going on. Now this particular lad, on this side of the horns, it's actually metal coming out, and I said no, I'm going to paint it all as horn, just contrast paint it down afterwards. So I'm going to go off camera and do the rest, not just on him, but on the rest of the guys as well. So next thing I'm going to do is come round and just start locking in all the retribute armour on edge highlight. I say edge highlight just to all the trim. This little demon face on his shoulder pad as well, only a gold trim. Gold. So I'm going to crack on and do the rest of them. Right, so all the gold trim is done. Okay. Look-see. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to get silver lead belcher and things like the gun. I'm going to give them a silver paint down, but it's going to be more like a dry brush type of paint down. But it's a bad example to show him because he's got the axe in his hand, like this guy here. So I'm going to paint the gun, bits like his arm in there, but there's all the vents. I'm going to paint all those bits under here. Just give them a quick tidy up with this lead belcher. So like the gun, I'm not going to paint it, I'm going to give it sort of a dry brush because I want it to be black and the silver coming together. You'll see what I mean in a second. So I should show you some now. I get a tiny bit of paint on the brush. I'm going to start with something that I want to get really silver on, and then just come on in like that. You can see bits of black coming through, but you can see bits of silver. All like the chains and everything hanging off them. Do the same thing again. Tiny bit of paint on the brush. Just go for it. There's a bulb on the back of him. I don't want the silver to really take away from the rest of the paint. I just wanted to add to it. Like these pipes, these arms. Let's give them a quick once over. Pipes going to the back of him. Across the chest. Same technique again. But here's a gem on his chest, so I'm going to get that a bit of silver first of all, and then just get in with a quick dry brush across the top of it. Very easy, very simple. I'm going to repeat that across all of them. Right, so have a bit of silver on them, as you can see. It's not too overpowering, it's nice. Now I'm going to do something very outlandish. But first of all, what I'm going to say is, for the likes of the horns and stuff, yeah, normally you go skull and horde. Okay? I'm going to try something very, very outlandish. It's either going to look absolutely amazing, or it's just going to be like, oh my god, what have you done? But I'm going to try these things. I'm going to go with this contrast paint. I haven't used it before, so hopefully, oh, it's very bright. I'm going to give it a whack on one of them just to have a look, see what it looks like. Oh, it's very, don't know if I like that. It's very blue. I was kind of hoping it'd be like an ice blue. Too much on there, I think. I don't know. We'll see when that dries. I might actually just wait for that one to dry and then check out if I'm going to do it on the rest of them or not. Come back to you then. Right, my first initial thought with this colour, it looks nice, it's just a bit runny, very, very runny. I don't know, you know, when it dries, if I just take the brush and just give it a little pull out of where it's pulling together, but it does seem to struggle a bit with the lightning claws. It's just dreadful. It's just collecting all in there for some bizarre reason. Very, very runny. But the lightning claws are not an issue because I can come over with some Love Hand Blue just to tidy them up. Now, apart from a few bits of cloth on the front of their bodies and stuff like that, I think the guy with the lightning claws had some grenades in front of him. They're pretty much battle ready. But to do the cloths in front, I'm going to use this colour called Pure Red from Army Painter. I'm going to test it out. Appears to be the drop of, oh yes, very sexy. A drop of bottles. So all I have to do is just, there we go, that's a lot easier. So test this out. It's the first time I've ever used Army Painter paint. So I'm going to test it, see what it's like. There's some of a cloth. You have a cloth, yeah. So I'm going to get in and just paint the cloth down. See what way it dries up and looks. The cloth, I'm painting the cloth red just to really just contrast the green of the armour. Very bright, very bright. Hopefully it works a little bit like the layer of paint where it goes on bright and dulls itself down. That's brilliant, it really contrasts away from, because it's touching the blue on his head. This guy has another cloth, let's get in with this one and try and do this one a bit. Just got a little bit on his inside of his leg there by accident. Let's have a look. Someone else has a cloth. Anyone else? You have a cloth. See, I think the blue looks pretty good on him, but I'm just not sure. It's just very, very runny, I think. But again, like I said, I can tidy that up with some Lothern blue afterwards. dear. Look at that sky is terrible. That's really backfired on me, that blue. I'll sort that out in a second off his the skull there. Let's make sure I get this guy as well. I think there's a storm coming in, or the tail end of a storm that we're getting. The wind's starting to pick up out there. Do you notice that two of these models are pretty much the same? Which is a bit repetitive, but it doesn't matter. Like those lightning claws are going to look terrible. Anyway, let's get the cloth paint on his chest. Right, so I went through and just gave them a flick with some Lothern blue. And my first thoughts of this colour, I'm not too happy with it, but I wasn't happy with the other. I wasn't too happy with this colour on the claw first of all, until I used it for a second time. So what I'm going to do now is I've got some moot green and some White Scars White on the wet palette, and the moot green is the airbrush paint, so it's quite watered down anyway. I'm going to wet my brush, and this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to start trying to mix this little section here. I want to get a very thin light green. See the difference in the green? That's what I want. And what I'm going to do, because these are about ready, okay, but now I'm going to take to the next stage. So I'm going to wet the brush again, put it into that green and get a nice wet section of it. So I'm going to come in and we're going to do, this is what we're going to do, I'm going to start painting this on. This might mess it up, I don't, hopefully not. But I'm not doing it always to the edge, okay? There's too much on there. That's the consistency that I want. So when you're looking at it, what the hell are you doing? You'll see as it starts to dry, it just dry off really thin. Especially across the power fist, it's going to look amazing. I'm just sort of dry brushing across the gauntlet there. just to give me a really mad effect. I'm going to try and tip the edge a bit. Here's the effect it's going to give you, nice and easy. Now I'm going to go and do the rest of them off camera, and I'll come back to you when they're done. Right, and they're done. Very, very easy, very simple. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, found some helpful tricks and tips. I'm going to bring you down and show you some pretty pictures now. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already hit the subscribe button, please do so, guys, because it costs you nothing and it actually really helps the channel in a big way. And for everyone that's already hit the buttons, well done, thank you very much. If you haven't, please hit subscribe, turn on your notifications, and hit the like button as well, please. Thanks for watching, and I'll show you some pretty pictures now, but I'll see you next time. Take it easy, guys.